In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet the family, friends, loved ones, all who are gathered here this morning with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. Our condolences to the family. We mourn the loss of our father, our grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, uncle, friend, brother, minister, soldier, helper of the Messiah, brother, minister, Abdul Rahman Muhammad, the great helper of the Messiah. Brothers and sisters, we are sad, but we are exceedingly glad that Allah sent such a beautiful soul our way. We are a grateful nation, a grateful family. We ask Allah to comfort the family. And we ask Allah, God, to not deprive the family and a grateful nation of his reward, and to not make us fall into a trial after him. Allah teaches us and tells us in the Quran, in the 2nd chapter, the 153rd through the 157th verse, that we will be tried with something of fear and hunger, loss of property and lives and fruits, and give good news to the patient, who, when a misfortune befalls them, they say, surely we are Allah's, and to him we shall return. Those are they on whom are blessings and mercy from their Lord, and those are the followers of the right course. O you who believe, seek assistance through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with the patient. And speak not of those who die in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not. Do you see Brother RockMan in the MGT? Do you see Minister RockMan in the FOI? Do you see Minister RockMan in our national and our emblem, the crescent and the star? Brother RockMan is alive, but we perceive not. His work and his legacy remains for us to carry on. We are going to follow the service as Allah has given to us. A very dignified and respectful service given from Allah, God, through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Minister RockMan would not want it any other way.
That's right.
Please join me as you open your program for the reading of the obituary. Minister Abdul Rahman Akil Muhammad, the Rock, was born on October 1st, 1931 at 9 p.m. in Burke County, Georgia, as Samuel Christopher Saxon, one of 5 children of the late Samuel and Rosebud Saxon. He's affectionately known as Brother. He attended Booker T. Washington High School and became a star athlete, a true sportsman and popular football, baseball, and basketball player. He became a junior lifeguard and a semi-pro baseball player. As a young man, he enjoyed jazz music and studied and excelled in pool. He became a popular pool player, ranking among the top 3 pool players in Atlanta. And he beat me too many years ago, and I thought I knew how to play pool.
Right.
Brother RockMan, at the age of 19, was drafted into the Army, where he spent 19 months in Japan. And after returning home from the military in 1952, he ventured out to Detroit, Michigan, and New York City. Passing through Atlanta in 1955 in a rooming house on Hunter Street, he was introduced to Minister James X, a minister in the Nation of Islam. He was instantly impressed and believed what he heard. And in December of 1955, he went to the Orange Blossom Classic, where he met Mildred Simon. After 3 months of courtship, they were married in April 1956. Their marriage produced 7 children. In 1956 through 1958, he lived in Los Angeles, where he and his wife received their ex. They left Los Angeles and moved to Chicago to begin their work with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. In 1961, he was appointed the captain of Muhammad Mosque number 29 in Miami, Florida. And during his assignment in Miami, while selling Muhammad Speaks newspaper on 2nd Avenue, he met a young boxer named Cassius Clay. An instant bond and lifetime friendship occurred. Through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his guidance, Cassius Clay became Muhammad Ali, and he worked with Ali for the next 20 years. In 1968, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him the title of investigating minister over all local temples in the nation. And under Minister RockMan's leadership, he helped establish 19 mosques and study groups throughout the southern region. In October 1969, he was appointed the minister over Muhammad Mosque number 15 in Atlanta, Georgia. And during his tenure as the minister of Muhammad Mosque number 15, he opened up 4 restaurants, 3 fish markets, 1 bakery, 2 schools with 4 school buses. And Muhammad Mosque number 15, under his leadership, circulated over 40,000 Muhammad Speaks newspapers every week. Mosque number 15 also opened up a clothing store. And from this work, he became affectionately known as the Rock of the South. All praises due to Allah. Minister RockMan. In 2010, Minister RockMan became a published author, putting his story and life experiences in his autobiography entitled, I Walked with the Great Ones. He has appeared in many books and documentaries written about the life of the world's heavyweight champion, 3-time champion Muhammad Ali. At the age of 87, Minister RockMan continued to spread the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and is a strong supporter, follower, and friend of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He continued to educate and advise young ministers and believers on a daily basis up until the time of his return to Allah. Throughout his work in the nation, he has received many awards, recognition, and honors, including proclamations from the governor of the state of Georgia, from the mayor of the city of Atlanta, Georgia, the city council, and flowers while you live honors. Minister RockMan leaves countless cherished memories to his children, Michael Wilson, Elijah, Rashida, Angie, Rodney Pearson, Rakaya, Reggie Lata, Wali, Ali, Carr, and Bashir Carr. His loving sisters, Ali Saxon, Rudine at Avery, Rudine, thank you, Waddell, Olive, and a host of grandchildren, nieces, and the entire nation of Islam.
That's right.
He was preceded in death by his brother Theodore, son Cortland, and daughter Karen. We will miss the strong witness.
Yes, sir.
A sound of witness
That's
like
right.
no other.
No other.
What an example.
Yes, sir.
Of faith.
Yes, sir.
Love.
That's right.
Duty.
That's right.
Commitment.
Yes, sir.
Dedication.
That's right.
And what a soldier in the cause of freedom, justice, and equality looks like.
Yes.
But he lives in all of us.
Yes, sir.
And we will honor his life by carrying on the work that he did so honorably, so gracefully. And now let us receive the brother of Minister Abdul Rahman Mohammed in faith and in the struggle of freedom, justice, and equality. Let us receive the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but He. And we thank Him for His merciful intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad, who came among us to guide us back to the straight path that our ancestors believed and followed before they were brought into the Western Hemisphere and made slaves. We thank Master Farrakhan Muhammad for choosing another son of Georgia, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for his fearless, uncompromising stand on behalf of our people. It is his example that Brother RockMan followed. It is his example that made us men. It is his example, his teaching, that made us women. It is his teaching that made us soldiers in a cause bigger than ourselves. We thank him for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and this son of Georgia.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Minister.
Brother Minister Abdul Rahman Akil Muhammad. I greet all of you with the greeting words of peace.
Yes, sir.
We say it in our original tongue. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
To our pastor, Dr. Toussaint, our thanks to you, dear pastor, for always opening the door of this historic house
Yes, sir.
of worship.
Yes, sir.
To allow the Muslims to come and speak here, bury our dead here,
Yes, sir.
marry and go into life's journey from this sacred place.
Yes, sir.
I came here many years ago
Yes, sir.
and was in the office of the brother who was the predecessor of Reverend Toussaint, the great friend of Martin Luther King Jr., Ralph David Abernathy.
Yes, sir.
I found in him a brother and a friend, a man that not only loved Dr. King, but he loved our people. And that spirit seems to be with some of these great sons of Georgia. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Hosea Williams. Oh, we could name all the great ones. But the Rock.
Come on, dear minister. Come on, dear minister. Come on, dear minister.
Of all the wonderful men and women that Georgia has produced.
Yes.
Great spiritual guides and teachers and warriors. I must be a little personal, but of all the warriors that Georgia produced, it is this warrior
Yes, sir.
that I believe will be born out. He was the greatest of them all. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad chose him, and when I read the program or heard the obituary, you all may not know, but the first minister here, James, was from Boston, Massachusetts. He was a great musician, and we were friends in Boston. I never knew what happened to him. And when I visited the mosque on February 26th, it was a temple, 1955, I looked in the balcony, and there was the man sitting there who was a friend of mine, a musician. He wrote even some arrangements for the songs that I would sing. So when I saw him, I was in the balcony
Right.
and I was waving at him, but he looked like he didn't recognize me, but it was the discipline of the Muslims
Yes.
that he did not show any movement. And to think that my brother, RockMan, came under his leadership and became the best minister that Georgia ever produced for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, when Elijah Muhammad said to the rock, I want you to be my helper in Atlanta, Honest Rock said,
Come on.
dear apostle,
Come on.
he said, I used to cut the food in that city. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad responded,
Come on.
I used to cut the food down there too. So you go to that city where you used to cut the food
Right.
and raise those people to life.
Wow.
And that he did. To the beloved family of whom I am a member,
Yes, sir.
to the beloved friends and followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and to all those that his life touched. I know that if you could speak, you would have so many wonderful things to say about our journey with Brother RockMan. But in Islam, our funerals or janazas, we're not permitted to do eulogies. We're not permitted to sing sad songs, any song.
Yes, sir.
That's why you won't hear the organ play, you won't hear somebody singing a beautiful song, because this is in honor of one who can't hear the song,
Yes, sir.
can't smell the flowers. So he lies here as an example to us of how he used the time
Yes, sir.
that God gave him. So we're not allowed to give these talks about him, not during the Janazah service. No sad songs, because God knows the pain, because he is the author of life. And no soul comes to life without his permission.
Yes,
and
sir.
he also is the author of death. And none of us can die without his permission.
Yes, sir.
We don't care what the doctors say. It is God who calls time,
Yes.
but off time with our help.
Yes, sir.
Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us there's no set time for us to die. What? But the Quran says the term is fixed. Well, if there's no set time for us to die, how is the term fixed?
Teach, man. Teach.
See, you fix it. By the way you live the life that God gave you. God never brought us to this earth and gave us this wonderful thing called life without giving us the guidance of how to live this life to the fullest until the time comes when our body is so weak it can't sustain life. Then it is time for us to return to Allah, time for this body to return to the earth. God is a merciful God.
Yes, sir.
So when we speak of Allah, we call him Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, the beneficent, the merciful. Don't you know that the God of mercy knows how painful it is for us to be separated one from another by death? Why would the God who gives us life, knowing that all of us are going to die, why would God want us at the time of death to be burdened with grief?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Minister.
It is natural to suffer sorrow for a loss of a loved one, but it is improper for the righteous
Yes, sir.
to grieve. Because grief is like a cancer. And when you cannot understand God's will in bringing him here, God's will in returning him to himself, then you grieve. You're not at peace with what God has caused to happen. And if you're not at peace with God, then this becomes a terrible, terrible event
Yes, sir.
in the life of those who are left behind. So God has put in each of us what is necessary to run the race of life. There are certain hormones that are present in the brain, and when we're afraid, we can lift weights that we couldn't lift before, run faster than we ran before. But there's also hormones that cause us to bear the tragedies of life, the misfortunes of life.
Teacher.
So all of us are going to experience misfortunes in this life. But the question is, how do you handle it? Who wants to be separated from a loved one? So how should we accept the angel of death? In our Christian family, the scripture says, the Lord giveth,
Yes, sir.
and the Lord taketh away. But then it said, blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
So that when death visits us, and it's going to visit us all, sometime the visit will be to us directly. So the Quran says, Allah is he who takes men's souls by night.
Yes, sir.
And if the decree of death has not fallen upon that soul, then God returns that soul back to that body. And they go on another day, another week, another month, another year, until it's their time. But those on whom the decree of death has passed, he keeps that soul to himself. Remember the prayer Mama taught you? Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Each of us, by nature, are the children of peace. And peace with God can only be attained when we know His will and submit to His will. No matter what the situation is, we enter into a peaceful state of mind. And in that peaceful state of mind, He releases hormones in the brain.
Yes, sir.
That allows you to bear up under sorrow, bear up under loss, bear up under the things that life brings to every life that stays here any length of time.
Come on now.
So we're not here to grieve over our brother. We are not here to fall down in sorrow. We are here to praise God for the life that He gave us in Brother Abdul, RockMan, Muhammad. So may Allah's peace be with the family. May Allah's peace be with those of us that His life has touched. May Allah's peace be on us to bear the pain of our loss. At this time, we're going to say the Janazah prayer for the dead. I would like to ask the funeral director if he would turn this casket where the head is facing north and the feet are facing south.
Yes, sir.
Islam teaches us the science of life
Yes, sir.
and the science of death. Islam teaches us how to bear all the things that life brings to us, some by our own hands and some by the permission of God. But we always take what God gives and we say thank you. I learned how much of a Muslim I was when I was 3 minutes from death.
Yes, sir, dear minister.
On a table, blood pouring out of me. But I never asked God to spare my life.
Yes, sir.
In those closing minutes, I thanked Him for the time that He let me live in the marvelous beauty of His creation.
Yes, sir.
I thanked Him for giving me the word of truth that can raise black people from death and human beings from death. I thank Him. were my time to go, I would die with the praise of God on my lips.
Yes, sir.
RockMan left with the praise of God on his lips. That's when I found out that I really was a believer.
Yes, sir.
When I met my brother in Chicago as a lieutenant, he had to say an oath to come into the FOI.
Yes, sir.
And that oath is a part of our prayer.
Yes, sir.
It goes like this. My prayer, my sacrifice.
Yes, sir.
Finish it with me.
My
life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. So when you take that oath,
yes, sir.
you can't be angry with God if He calls you on the word that you gave Him. So we place His body where the head faces north and the feet face south. Because all those who are living travel around the earth at the equator, facing east, facing west. But when the soul is gone, as I kissed my brother's forehead yesterday, it was cold. Like the North Pole. His feet cold because he no longer walks among us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But when he walked, he did such a work that when God called him to walk no more, to talk no more, he said enough, he did enough. That we can feed on the works of such a man.
Yes, sir.
And be inspired with the time that is left for us. Thank you, Allah.
Yes, sir.
For our brother. That's how you show God your gratitude. Not your hurt, not your pain. Thank you, Allah.
Yes, sir.
For the days, the weeks, the months that we were communing with our brother. Thank you, God. For what he taught me to make me a better human being. Thank you, God.
Yes, sir.
For the life that he lived that taught me how to soldier for God. Thank you, Allah. So this is a time when we show God how grateful we are to have met a man like this, been taught by a man like this, that gave life to us from a man like this. we're going to say the Janaza prayer, and we're asking the sisters who have a mint to give you. Master Farrakhan Muhammad said, just putting this mint in your mouth as you come to salute him. Each one will come by and salute our brother. Put your hand over your heart because he gave his all to this. And what a joy it is to follow him.
Yes, sir.
To his final resting place.
Yes, sir.
This candy represents the fullness of each of our lives. So as you put it in your mouth, your life is like this candy.
Teach, minister.
If you're a righteous person. When you put this candy in your mouth, it's full. But the natural juices wear the candy away. So that pretty soon it's not there anymore. But what it leaves is the sweet taste. So it is with the life of the righteous. They are like a sweet piece of candy.
Yes, sir.
But the force of life itself wears us away. But when we leave behind the memory of a sweet communion that we had with our brother.
Yes, sir.
To my beloved friend and pastor, we use the word communion. Each first of the month, as a Christian, you come to church and you take what is called communion as a remembrance of the Last Supper of Jesus the Christ when he was among us. He broke the bread and he gave it to his disciples and told them, eat this in remembrance of me. Bread is not the bread that it's talking about. It's talking about the word. So when Jesus told them, eat the bread, he meant to them, feed on my word in your heart. And when you feed on Christ, when you feed on the word, when you feed on Muhammad, when you feed on the word of the Quran and his example, he said you will never go astray. So Jesus took, likewise after supper, he took the cup and he gave us to drink. And he said, this is my blood, wow, that I shed for the New Testament. Meaning that there was greater wisdom coming down the pipe.
Yes.
I got to live the life in order to enjoy the blessing that's coming because I tried to live that life. Then Jesus knew that you would never be in this world without him. And he said, and lo, I will be with you always to the end of the world. So it is with any of us who die in the Lord.
Yes, sir.
No such thing as death. What we found is eternal life. We die. He dies. But he had a baton in his hand. Who will live the life that I live? Who will walk the path that I've walked? who will suffer for the sake of truth like I suffer, then take this baton in your hand, and in that baton is my life. And it will continue until the kingdom is established and peace all over the earth reigns supreme.
Testing 1, 2.
Now, the rest can be seated, please, during this. I would like the male members of the family, the ministers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if you wish to join the ranks, please do so. You may follow us silently in this prayer, and then you may come and give your salute. Form a line, please, and back to us. I know there's so many, but we can't be behind the casket.
If everyone cannot fit where you are, it's fine. Let's just form single line ranks here, brothers.
Please, as quickly as possible. If you can't find enough room, then you may return to your seats and pray with us in silence. In this Janazah, there are 4 times that you will hear the Imam say the takbir, which is God is great. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Glory and praise to thee, O Allah. Blessed is your name, and exalted is your majesty, and there is none worthy of worship or praise beside you. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise belongs to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone do we worship, and to thee alone do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favors, not the path of those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard your teachings. Ameen. Ameen. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. O Allah, make Muhammad successful. Make the true followers of Muhammad successful. as thou didst make Abraham and the true followers of Abraham successful, for surely thou art praised and magnified. O Allah, bless Muhammad, bless the true followers of Muhammad, as thou didst bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised and magnified. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. O Allah, grant protection to our living and to our dead, to those who are present and to those who are absent, to our young and to our old, to our men and to our women. O Allah, whomsoever you permit to live from among us, make him or her to live in submission to your will, and whomsoever in faith. O Allah, do not deprive us of his minister Abdul Rahman Akil Muhammad reward, and do not make us fall into a trial after him. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My dear brothers and sisters, this ends the service. And now, in an orderly way, we're going to turn the casket back to its original position. And I want all of us to come and grant him a soldier, a salute. Put your hand over your heart.
Yes, sir.
And thank God for your journey. And all of you that would love to bear witness to the greatness of your brother, there'll be a period of mourning for about 40 days. But after the 40 days, we're going to come back again. And we'll be free now to talk about the great one that was among us. What's in your heart? What you feel? Film of him.
Right.
We're spending an evening or an afternoon with the Rock.
Yes, sir.
And we want it filmed.
Yes, sir.
So that it will be a part of the great documentary that his son, by God's grace, is doing in honor of his father. May we turn it now?
We can begin to come down from the balcony, from the back rows, and make your way down to give a soldier's salute. That's it. Sir.
My brothers and sisters, once you've given your salute, you may pass outside to your vehicles.
Straight out to your house, and we'll proceed to the gravesite.
Thank you.
Brothers that are here, you may begin.
Go straight down the center aisle, please. Thank you, Rashid.
The family will wait until everyone has given their salute. We will be the last. Everyone that's at the balcony, if you can stay where you are, and in the interest of time, we all will stand. We will place our hand over our hearts.
Yes, sir.
And from where we are, we will give a soldier's salute.
Yes, sir.
To a soldier's soldier.
Yes, sir.
So all soldiers of Christ and Muhammad, attend. Place your right hand over your heart. Original salute. Ready? Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Now, with everyone with the exception of the family, if we can make our ways to our vehicles. You sure? Okay. Would everyone stay seated?
Yes, sir.
Just a little change in instructions if everyone will take their seat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fontaine.
Yes, sir.
Fontaine.
Yes, sir.
Fontaine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Peace, my brother. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Last step. That's it.
My brother. Good catch. honor to see you.
Got it. Brother, Paul Bear.
Come on, right quick. Come on. All right, brother. Hey, brother. Come on, right quick. Come on. We need you. You like that?
Let's get back there real early clear. When we coming this way, you can just back up for us, Captain. Just back up for us. Take it to the grass. Back up to the grass for us, please. Thank you. Back up for me, please.
Excuse me, sir.
Allahu Akbar!
Allahu Akbar.
Long live Muhammad!
Long live Muhammad!
Long live Muhammad!
Long live Muhammad!
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Take your time. Take your time. Allahu Akbar. Take your time. Watch your step.
Coming up.
Thank you.
Step, David, right here. I want that. Right step, right here.
Good.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Takbir! Takbir!
in that back and jump in that car. Actually, as a matter of fact, where is Eli? He needs to grab the vehicle. Ask him, he grab the car. Give him this key, brother, all right? So I can just start rolling. Yeah. Bring him up. Let me bring him up. Hey T, is this one actually drive?
Yeah. Move the flower car, move that hurt you.
If I'm going, you in the vehicle? Yeah, we need to clear the tail. Perfect.
Junior, get ready.
All right, he's going in the street.
Hold tight.
What are you going to do? Right. Horse is coming out.
Behind you, D.
Horse is coming out.
Coming out. Yes, sir. Over, sir.
Have him back up some more. He's trying to come out in front of him. Sir.